to South Florida One, the talk of 70s culture, fads, movies, music, and Florida folklore. And I am back today. This week, I am covering Florida water parks. Now, what would Florida be without water parks, let alone the beaches? The water parks are, it's funny because there's still a few left here in South Florida and a little bit further up. So, but I'm going to go over the ones who are now defunct. And one of them in particular, which was my favorite, was built in Walt Disney World in 1976, June 20th, and it was called River Country. River Country was a man-made beach, and I know it sounds kind of gross if you think about it, but this beach, what it did is it used a filtering system, and it's next to Bay River, and it would filter the water throughout Bay River, and it would try to keep, and it was situated higher than the river, so it would keep the water from the lake from sinking into the park water. So that would, that's a lot of health risks there. But anyway, we'll move on. Some of the main attractions there, the main rides and so on and so forth. One of them was called the Upstream Plunge, and it was a lung-shaped pool. Instead of kidney shape, it was lung shaped. Why, I don't know. And it had, it's also slippery slide falls, where there was two huge water slides that would empty into the pool, but they were situated pretty high. So it was nice. You'd slide down and you'd be in midair before you jump into the pool, which is a lot of fun. I never went on it because I was about 8 or 9, and of course it was too scary. So, which takes me to the next attraction, was Kiddie Cove, and it was aimed towards preteens, and it had 2 large slides and a smaller slide for the little kids. It was so cute how they would go down, and this little tiny little slide. And the other one I loved because it went and it curved downward, and that was my favorite. And I think my dad tried to go on it, and back then he was a little heavier and he got stuck. Nothing like adults trying to go on kiddie rides, huh? So, and another one was another one that I liked. It was for kids 8 and under, but I always went in it. I was maybe about 9 at the time, and it was called Indian Springs, and it was a little bitty spot where the kids would run around. There'd be those fountains, those spraying fountains that would get you wet, and it was a lot of fun. I used to spend a lot of time in there. And Bay Bridge was Whitewater Rapids, which was 330 feet long, and it had an inner tube. It was an inner tube slide, one of those inner tube rides that were so popular back then. And nowadays they use, I know back in the 70s, in a lot of water parks, they use mats. And every now and then, like Disney's Blizzard Beach now there, I mean, they had some sort of ride there, and I'll discuss that later with Blizzard Beach. But it had these, a bunch of people sit in one big enclosure, and it would go down the river, and sometimes you'd spin around and you get soaked, and it was so much fun. But we'll move on to that later. Bay Bridge, and then there was Whoop and Holler Hollow, which was this, there were 2 long water slides that emptied into the lake, into the Bay Cove. And it was situated, the thing about that was it was situated so far back from the shore that it would take forever for you to get, you swim and swim and swim, and it was so exhausting. But I remember my mom and her sister-in-law at the time would go through, she's like, Sandy, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. It was, so I said, I'll try it. I think we went was it in the 80s we went, and I remember going, or maybe I was 9 at the time. I don't remember, but I remember, hello, Lady Peeps, glad you can make it. I'm so happy to see you here. I was just talking about the water slides. I was talking, I'm in the middle, you just came out at the right time. I'm talking about a man-made beach that was popular in Walt Disney World in Orlando here called River Country, and it was a man-made beach. Hugs to you too. And it sounded pretty gross when I thought about it, a man-made beach, even then I'm like, ooh. but it was a lot of fun. And of course they had the water filtered through the Bay Lake next to it. And the Whoop and Holler Hollow I was just discussing, where it was 2 huge water slides that would empty into the river, and it took forever to get to the shore. And Bay Cove was a half an acre. It was a half an acre of a sand bottom lake, which was pretty much what River Country was. It was a sand bottom. And a lot of the bigger kids went on there, maybe the teenagers, and they had tire swing, boom swing, rope climb, T-bar drop, and the zip ties, their cable ride where you zip across and you jump. And I've been dying to go on. Speaking of zip ties, here in Renaissance Festival, which is around the United States, when it comes here down in February and March, I'm gonna have to try that, getting on the zip rides, and make sure I don't wear a skirt or anything, because I like to dress up sometimes, and or if I do, wear shorts underneath it. So I wouldn't want to scare anybody, flash everybody, and scare everyone. So anyway, I lived there. I was supposed to be, got turned down. You couldn't go, or yeah, Disney World. Yeah. Well, Disney World. I guess I guess you mean you weren't able to go. I know it's expensive. You have to. A lot of these theme parks, you have to, give your entire life savings, or if you have a 401k, you got to cash that in, because that's how they make their money. And the food is very high priced, of course. And anyway, like I said, River Country was a man-made beach, and it used the water filtering system it was using the lake adjacent to it, in order to keep the lake water from going into the pond, into the beach. And the river was situated higher than Bay Lake to keep for better, so it was a little safer that way. And actually, in this park, there are several deaths. 2, one was from an amoeba. So me discussing the grossness of a man-made beach, I guess, that was part of the reason. I suppose the filtering system didn't work as well as it should have. And they try to unplug. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Oh, that's a shame. And I know they had Euro Disney they tried out for, and that, I don't think that lasted for not even a year. They tried that, and that was a bunch of millions and maybe billions of dollars that were lost. But and another one were 2 boys drowned, and because the water was filtered from Bay Lake, the water wasn't transparent enough, so the lifeguards didn't see them until minutes later. And another thing, the non-transparent water. So it's amazing how actually how River Country lasted as long as it did, because we went there when it was brand new. So everybody was still probably doing it with the filtering, and maybe, I don't know if they were sanitizing it some way. I know they didn't use chlorine, because you couldn't smell it. So it was all regular water that was filtered water. So anyway, the deaths didn't really didn't have an impact on the park until its closure in November of 2001. So at least that was good. It didn't hurt their business any. However, Disney announced competition arose when Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach were opened up, and both had more parking, many more rides and slides, newer amenities, and much larger than River Country. And Disney announced in 2015 that the river will be closed permanently. And it was left, I'm sorry, not 2015, 2005. And this was left abandoned for 17 years, which was absolutely despicable for Disney to do that and just leave it. And there's pictures on, if you look it up, River Country 70s or now, it's, oh my God, it's like all covered in moss, and it's like a swampland. And the Kiddie Cove, it looks as though there's no water. It looks like it's all grass, like all moss, like the water evaporated. And the pool is, full of full of sludge and moss and algae and all that crap. And actually, if you look up, there's YouTube videos where it was a popular site for a lot of urban explorers who they got through by climbing the green fence, or they walked in through the back way. And a few of them would document their trips on YouTube by recording and posting it, and all their findings, and where and some of the areas still had the old towels left over, and the old signs like Wuppenhaler Hollow, and the towel where you would dispense the towels, and so on and so forth. And man, I would have loved to have been able to go there and see what it was like, and bring back and look at all the memories, and regardless of what it looked like in the present. However, it's rumored that a hotel is going to be currently in the works under a new mystery development labeled Project 89, and to be rebuilt along Bay Lake and over the former River Country site. And the resort hotel was confirmed on March 5th of 2018, and most of the remaining structures were demolished in April 20th of 2019, last year, to make way for the development of the new hotel. Disney stated that the new resort will also be nature themed and called Reflections, a Disney lakeside lodge, to have 900 rooms and set to open in 2022. And I can't wait to see the photos once the hotel is finished. And it would be fun to reminisce about the old park. And it would be awesome to be there just to, and it'd be nice to kind of feel like you can feel the after effects, like the aftermath, if you're there and what it once was, and just the whole, just be a complete thrill. And it'd be awesome to think of the families and friends that once flocked there, and of course the memories will always be there anyway, but that would be a lot fun to visit. And anyway, now that River Country, there's another huge park that was opened up in 1977 in Orlando, Florida, called Wet and Wild. And we went there quite a few times in the early 80s. And the last time I went there was in 2006 with my 8-year-old daughter and her friend, and my hubby, who we were dating at the time. And it's a lot of fun. But it closed in December, New Year's Eve of 2016, and it was founded by the SeaWorld creator, George Millay. And Lady Peeps, like I was telling you, a crush on that kid from Zoom when I was growing up in the 70s, Malloy. His last name is Malloy. Anyway, the huge attraction there was, of course, they had lots of really cool slides, and the big attraction was the wave pool. It was this huge pool, and every now and then, I think maybe every half hour, they turn on the waves, and they get really big. And when I had a bad experience once, I was at the deep end, and they turned on the waves, and I was trying to get out of the pool, and I was holding onto the slide, and I kept trying to come up, and the waves would push me up and then go down, suck me down, and then the lifeguard saw this and had to pull me up. It was a bit spooky, but it was fun. And there's a list of rides I'm going to give, and I'm going to go over, that were built in 1977. And when they were replaced, there was one called the Corkscrew, which was a big enclosed slide, and that was replaced by the Black Hole in 1990. And there were two that were replaced in 1986. One was the Whitewater Slideways, which is 2 open body slides, and it was replaced by the Hydromaniac. And the Canadian Water Caper, the Whitewater Slideways was replaced by Mach 5, and the Bonsai Boggin was replaced, were the 2 sled slides replaced by Hydromaniac. And they had the Canadian Water Caper, which was a kids area, and it was replaced by Kids Park in 1992. And it's kind of a, unimaginative name, Kids Park. Maybe Kids Adventures or Kids, I don't know, Kids Paradise, I think would have been a lot better. And there was also the Wake Zone, which was a lot of water sports. And the wave pool, both of them still remained in operation until the park's closing in 2016. And there was also some enclosed bowl rides where you would go down an enclosed slide and empty into this huge bowl where you would go around and around like a toilet bowl. And two of the big named ones were the Brainwash, and the other was Disco H2O. I wonder if maybe the bowl, maybe it was decorated with some disco, like 70s kind of pictures and photos, and that would have been funny. I never, that must have been built later on when I was older, and I didn't really go there too much, so I didn't go on any of those rides. So, and one of the major rides was, I think they had the Thunderball, and it was a very high climb to where you go up so many feet of huge height. And when you get there, what you do, it's huge. You have to get in, and what you have to do, it all goes practically straight down. You have to lay back with your arms crossed and your legs crossed. And man, what a thrill. I mean, you're going straight down. And it's funny how sometimes you can be waiting for like a half an hour long, depending on the crowd, waiting all that time and going up so far, and then a ride that goes down not even maybe 5 seconds total, not even 10 seconds. And I remember when I went there in 2007, I went up and I almost wimped out. I was to the very top. I'm like, oh, I can't do this. And I thought, no, you're not going down that whole way. So I'm like, I always had these fears about going forward, but I know they probably use the test dummies and, when they test these out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think it was where they tested where the gravity kind of pulls you in, and you have to keep yourself enclosed. So none of those mishaps happen. But yeah, it was too bad that closed. I heard about it. I'm like, oh no, because I wanted to go to it again. Me and my hubby, or my mom and my daughter all together. And it was a really fun place. And one thing that happened in Wet 'n Wild, I remember we were just about to leave, and we took the girls shopping in one of the gift shops, and they wanted these little Roxy bags each that were $20 each. So Lady Peeps. So we went to pay for them, and the girl was new, and she overcharged us, or something happened. So they gave it to them for free. Oh, we got so lucky. The girls were thrilled. And what was neat, and there was a hotel right across the way, so we can walk back and forth. And we would go walk down to the shops up and down the highway. And we went to a restaurant there. Oh my God, we had the best time. What a shame it closed. And there was another water park that didn't really last. I know I think it closed in the mid-'80s, didn't last too long. It was opened in 1977, and I went there when they first opened, and it was called the Waterboggan, and it was in Pompano Beach, near where I lived in Deerfield Beach. And actually, these slides were kind of, a little bit more dangerous. You needed the mat, and the slides were concrete, and they weren't really enclosed that well. And what would happen is, if you're not careful, you can flip over into the other slide. And I know a lot of people used to do that. Like when we were teenagers, a lot of people used to do that for fun. They would do that, but it was very dangerous. So maybe that's why the park didn't last long. The slide didn't last long. I don't know, but that was a lot of fun. I think I only went there maybe once. But another water slide I liked the best, in the late 70s I went. It was Waterworks in Fort Lauderdale, and I loved Waterworks. My dad would take us like every weekend, and I loved it because the slides were really high up and they were plastic. But what would happen is I would slide down I lay on my stomach, and of course the slides, they had in between where they're built together, and they have these little gaps. And every time I go down, it would go boop, boop, boop. And I think from going down, I have these bumps right in my hips from it pinching me there. And I'm like, oh my God, I got these bumps. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know how long that lasted and when that closed. I think it might have been the early 80s. So when that closed down, but that was my favorite. And it was, like I said, in Fort Lauderdale, off of Commercial Boulevard and Dixie Highway, which you probably have no idea, but I'm giving you all the sights and everything, like you're sightseeing with me, Lady Peeps. And also another water park that is still in existence today and is the most popular was built in 1979. It's called Rapids Water Park, and it's out in West Palm, and it is one of the biggest water parks, and it's still popular, still going strong. I only went there, the first time I went there, as a matter of fact, was in 2006, and they have a lot of enclosed slides. And actually, when I went there again with my mom, I had to take Dramamine because one time I went through it, and I swear, not only because it was warm, but it was enclosed, and I got really, really nauseous. And after that, I didn't go on any of the slides after that because of it. But the Dramamine, even with the Dramamine, I felt a little ill. But the Rapids Water Park has, oh my God, they have these really high, a lot of the slides are more enclosed, and they also have those toilet bowl slides, which I went on, and it's a blast. Like I said, you go through, it's enclosed, you go out, and it's this huge, I mean, you just go around and around, and it, like a toilet bowl. And oh my God, and they have, of course, the lazy river, which is my favorite. You get to, you get to sun, and you got to kind of lay back, and then after that you go on the next big slide, and then the next big slide after that. And yeah, that's still going strong. And for some reason, I don't see that ever closing. And another park, actually it's a park, but it has a water area. It's called C.B. Smith Park, which was built in 1959. And it's all the way down in Homestead. I used to go there all the time, and oh my God, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's got this, where the pool area where you can wade, they have this huge, huge big bucket where the water would pull in. And then what would happen once it gets full, there was a whistle to warn everybody, and it would completely empty out onto you. And oh my God, it is so much fun. I've got to go down there again. And they have actually, they also have the 410-foot lazy river as well. And it was called Crazy Creek. And then they have the Sharky's Lagoon for all ages, and the Parrots Point for kids under 5. And it's so much fun. It really is. I got to get down there again. Me and maybe a friend, somebody. I don't know if my hubby will go. He might just sit around. I don't know. But I'd love to get down there again. I'm going to talk my hubby into going again, maybe this summer sometime. That reminds me. I think I'm going to make plans to go there. And there are other smaller water parks in the area. One I'm not too sure if is still open. It might be. It's called Coconut Cove Water Park, and it's only open on the summer, and then it closes like around September, October for the winter and the fall and winter. And Coconut Cove is a small water park, but it's still a lot of fun as well. Of course, the lazy river and the slides aren't as big, but there's a kiddie area where there's kiddie slides and so on and so forth. And oh, I'll take you. You can fly down. We'll have a ball. It'll be a real gas. And I wonder where Lee is. I told him I'm going on 1 o'clock, and I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to ask him if he had technical difficulties. He's going over for his show on Friday. I mean, not Friday, Saturday. But Coconut Cove is, and then it has this really big pool, and of course you can lay out. And Coconut Cove is a lot of fun too. I've got to find out if they're still open and go there. Hell, I'll even go by myself. I don't care. I think that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, and that's in Coconut Cove is located in Boca Raton, and it's in a residential area. You go through it, and it goes all the way back down towards the park, and it's a lot of fun. And there's others here and there, but like I said, Florida wouldn't be Florida without water parks. And speaking of, July next month, I can't wait to go to Key West. Finally, I told my hubby, I said, we are not canceling this time. A lot of the places are open. The one we go to is Eden House, and it's got like a jacuzzi and a heated pool. Very nice. And of course, there's contactless check-in, and you have to go in the lobby and wear your mask. But of course, in the rooms, you don't have to. And out in the pool, you don't have to, because she said it'll look really weird, but you just have to kind of distance yourself. And with the jacuzzi, I'm sure you have to go 1-2 people at a time, or if you're together or whatever. And then, of course, in the streets, I think if you ride your bike, I don't know if you have to wear the mask, but when you're going in and out of the stores and you walk around, you have to. It's going to suck. But I told him, I said, we are not canceling. Plus, it's for his birthday. And, and Lady Peeps, Lee's birthday's tomorrow. Oh, my God. And I forgot to do some kind of song for him or some kind of thing, because I can't think of anything. I'm not that clever. So, but yeah, we're going to have to, I don't know, we're going to have to do something, say something, you know, to him. Because, yeah, he's going to be 57. Man, we're getting old, and he looks great for his age. I tell you, he's healthy, keeps himself in shape, and he always sends me these pictures. He sent me this little video of him shaving his hair, cutting his hair, looking really dapper, and yeah, he that voice of his, I swear, I remember hearing him for the first time. Man, that voice is sexy. Oh my God. And it's funny, and I saw him, and he didn't look like I thought. I thought he'd be like, I don't know, had this really dark hair, but it's kind of like salt and pepper. And I saw the, I'm like, God, he's really handsome. And some pics. I'll have to clip, unless, is there any way maybe you can clip, go on his Facebook page and maybe, oh, that's right. Oh, shit. Oops. But anyway, well, he doesn't know exactly what it is, but, I don't think, I tried to see if the chat room can come up, and I can't get it to come up for some reason. I have no idea. I'm not that tech savvy, but I just hope other people view this and see all the fun we're having discussing South Florida water slides, and they want to come down and maybe experience them, and they'll remember me, and they'll think, hey, I remember TA 70s chick, Gold TA 70s chick, let us know. And they can hopefully give me props. Anyway, that concludes the show, and hope you enjoyed, and let everybody know to please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I will have more videos along next week, and I hope to see you. I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be out of town to go into Mount Dora up north with my mom, and we're going there tomorrow and coming back Saturday. It's really nice where you walk around. There's shops, and it's just really nice out there. So you needed the larf. I'm glad I can make you larf. And so anyway, I'll have different subjects. I have a really good subject I'm going to cover probably either Monday or Tuesday. I will let you know. And till then, Johnny, or cheerio to you, and and have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. Bye-bye.